The sun burns white over the dry savanna. Heat ripples across the land. A band of Australopithecus afarensis moves through the tall yellow grass, their movements weary but purposeful. Dust clings to their fur. Their lips are cracked. For days they have wandered between drying riverbeds, chasing the scent of water that always seems to fade with the wind. At the front, the female matriarch walks with a long stride, her eyes fixed on the distant shimmer of a mirage. Her child clings to her back, small hands gripping tightly. Behind them, a group of 7 males, females, and a single elder shuffle forward, carrying leaves folded into crude pouches filled with meager moisture from plants. Each drop is precious. Then movement. A male scout ahead halts suddenly, lowering himself into the grass. He lifts his nose, sniffing the air. A faint scent mud, perhaps. Life, he calls softly, a throaty clicking hum. The group gathers, eyes wide with hope. They follow him down a slope, hearts pounding. At the bottom lies a cracked basin of mud and dying reeds. The river that once carved through this land is now a scar of dust and heat. The matriarch kneels, pressing her hand into the dirt. Damp, barely. The tribe scrapes at the mud with stones, digging feverishly. Brown water begins to seep upward. They lap at it, desperate, scooping the thick liquid into their mouths and onto the child's lips. Relief floods their faces. For a moment, the savanna is silent but for the sound of breathing, but peace is short-lived. A shadow passes. A low growl rumbles across the wind. From the ridge above, a crocodile, gaunt and sunburnt, drags itself from the dried channel, one of the last survivors of a shrinking river system. It smells the scent of flesh. The tribe freezes. The scout steps between the beast and the others, baring his teeth. The matriarch grabs a broken branch, lifts it high, and thrusts it toward the predator. The croc lunges, jaws wide, snapping inches from her leg. The group erupts into chaos, screams, strikes, flailing limbs. Dust fills the air. The elder hurls a stone that cracks against the creature's eye. It thrashes violently. The scout seizes a jagged rock, drives it downward into the croc's neck. The blow glances off its scales, but the second strike hits true. The beast spasms, tail lashing, then falls still. Silence returns. The group trembles. The matriarch's breathing is shallow, but her eyes burn with life. They gather around the kill, no longer prey, but survivors. The scout kneels beside the corpse, running his hand over its cool scales. That night, they eat beneath the cracked stars. The fires glow, flickering against their faces. Smoke curls into the sky, a signal to no one and everyone. Before dawn, a sound wakes them, a rustle in the grass, a low grunt. The scout rises, scanning the dark horizon. Then he sees them, another group of Australopithecines, leaner, hungrier, creeping toward the carcass. Rival kin. They charge. The two groups collide with feral fury. Rocks and sticks become weapons. A young male from the matriarch's tribe is struck across the face, falling with a cry. The rival leader tears a strip of meat and flees. The matriarch's group retreats toward the hollow, clutching one another, panting. The food, their hard-won kill, is gone. The matriarch looks at the wounded youth, blood glistening under the early light. She presses a poultice of crushed leaves against the wound, her eyes steady. The message is clear. To live, they must move again. By midday, the air changes. The wind thickens with dust. Birds vanish from the sky. The elder, sensing danger, raises his head. A deep rumble trembles through the earth. Then it comes a sandstorm, sweeping across the plain like a living wall. The tribe runs for cover, clutching one another as the horizon disappears in a roar of grit and wind. The child screams, torn from the matriarch's grasp by the gale. She lunges blindly into the storm, eyes burning, hands scraping against thorn and rock. Through the blur, she sees a faint silhouette, a twisted tree. Beneath it, the child clings to a root, whimpering. The matriarch crawls, inch by inch, until she reaches him. She shields his body with her own as the storm devours the world around them. Hours pass before the wind dies. The tribe emerges from the sand-battered, half-blind, but alive. The matriarch's fur is matted with dust and blood. She rises slowly, cradling the child, eyes hollow but burning with resolve. Climax. The rivers return. The next morning dawns still and strange. The land smells of ozone. The tribe trudges onward, following the faint groove of the old riverbed. Then a sound. A distant rumble, not of storm or predator, but of water. They climb the ridge. Before them, a miracle rainfall from the mountains has broken through the dry earth. A new stream, thin but alive, carves its way through the dust. The tribe stares, disbelieving. The matriarch steps forward first, dropping to her knees. She scoops the cold water in her hands, lets it pour over the child's head. The others follow, shouting in joy, wordless, ancient music echoing across the valley. They drink, they bathe, they breathe. For the first time in weeks, the savanna smells of life. Birds return, insects stir, the horizon gleams gold again. The tribe gathers stones, shaping a shallow basin to trap the flow, a primitive well. The elder smiles faintly, touching the matriarch's shoulder. As dusk settles, the group rests beside their new waterhole. The child plays near the shallows, chasing dragonflies. The matriarch watches him, her eyes reflecting the sunset soft, golden, and alive. The camera pulls back, a small band of fragile beings against the vastness of Africa, the river twisting like a silver vein through scorched earth. The narration felt, not spoken, lingers in the air. The sun sinks behind the acacia trees, painting the world in bronze and shadow. Smoke from the tribe's fire curls upward, thin and steady, blending with the drifting dust of the savanna. The storm has passed, but the story of survival never ends. The matriarch sits apart for a moment, watching the horizon where the river gleams faintly in the dying light. Around her, the tribe eats quietly scavenged roots, the last of the crocodile meat soften in the fire's embers. The child leans against her, eyelids heavy. She strokes his hair absently, her mind still full of the storm, the screams, the blindness, the feeling of his tiny hand slipping from hers. Tonight, the savanna is calm. But the peace feels fragile, like the crust of cooling earth after fire. The night watch, the male scout, scarred from the crocodile's jaws, stands on a nearby rise. His eyes scan the plain. The storm has redrawn the land, dunes shifted, trees uprooted, new paths carved where the river now snakes. It is both unfamiliar and full of promise, a newborn world. He crouches, examining prints in the dust. Hyenas. Fresh. He glances back at the campfire where the tribe sleeps, then gathers stones and broken branches, arranging them in a half-circle around the sleeping group. Primitive defenses instinct shaped by generations of fear. In the darkness, the hyenas appear, silent and spectral. Yellow eyes glint in the firelight. The scout lifts a burning branch and hurls it. The creatures recoil, snarling, their courage flickering like the flames. They linger just beyond the reach of the light, pacing. The scout doesn't sleep. He keeps the fire alive, feeding it slowly through the night. When dawn comes, the predators are gone. But their tracks circle the tribe like a warning written in the dust. The new river brings life but also change. The tribe's waterhole, once sanctuary, begins to shrink as the days grow hotter again. The matriarch senses it first. The ground cracks sooner each morning. The fish vanish. One evening, she stands beneath the acacia tree, looking west, where clouds gather faintly on the horizon. She gestures. The elder nods. The decision is made. They must move again. The tribe prepares with ritual silence. Leaves are folded into water bundles, held by vines. The scout sharpens stones against other stones, fashioning crude cutting tools. A young female carries bundles of dried meat. The elder gathers herbs from the shade roots that heal, plants that calm. Every gesture is born of memory, each generation refining survival from the last. They leave at dawn. The camera follows them from above. 8 small shapes crossing a land vast and ancient, walking in the footprints of those who came before and those yet to come. The Rift Valley crossing by midday. The heat grows merciless. The group descends into a shallow canyon, an arm of the Great Rift Valley, jagged and alive with echoes of deep time. The walls rise high, the air heavy with the scent of stone. Here, the earth itself feels restless, alive beneath their feet. The matriarch halts, pressing her palm to the ground. A faint tremor, a whisper of motion. Then it happens. The earth shakes again, harder this time. Stones tumble from the cliffs. The tribe scatters, shrieking silently. Dust and pebbles rain down. The matriarch throws herself over the child as a boulder crashes nearby. The tremor fades after a few seconds, but it feels like eternity. When the shaking stops, the scout gestures ahead. The quake has split open the canyon floor, revealing a trickle of water bubbling from beneath the rock, a hidden spring. The tribe stares in wonder. The matriarch kneels, cupping the cool water in her hands. This is no mirage. It is life torn from death, the earth giving back what it took. They drink, bathe, and rest in the narrow canyon until nightfall, the tremors fading into memory. Days pass. The tribe follows the spring as it becomes a stream, the stream widening into a new river system winding through the plains. Along its banks, plants bloom again, ferns, lilies, tall reeds waving in the wind. Herds of ancient antelope graze nearby. The land is healing, and so are they. The matriarch watches as the child plays near the river's edge, splashing in the shallows. The others laugh in their low, chuffing way, a sound rare and precious. Then, without words, the elder approaches. He holds a smooth, oval stone. Using another, he begins to chip at it with rhythmic patience. The sound echoes, stone against stone, deliberate and purposeful. The others watch, fascinated. When he finishes, the rock bears a sharp edge. He hands it to the scout. The scout tests it, cutting through a reed with ease. The tribe murmurs softly. This small act born from observation, necessity, and endurance is a spark. The first glimmer of human innovation. They will not understand its significance, but it will echo through countless generations. Final sequence. Legacy of the thirst. As the sun sets again, the camera pans out over the land, the once dead valley now reborn with water and life. The tribe rests beside the river, their fire glowing warmly in the dusk. The matriarch sits at the water's edge, her reflection shimmering beside her child's. She dips her hand into the river, watching the ripples spread outward, endless and delicate. The scout places the sharpened stone beside her, its edge gleaming faintly in the firelight. Above them, the night sky unfolds a tapestry of stars, ancient and watching. The narration rises softly, timeless and solemn.